for Mr. J. Loren Norris.
Just sit right back and you hear a tale of a fateful trip. Well, come on, you'll know that one. It started on a tropic port aboard this tiny ship. Shut up! The neighbors are tired of you singing. It's midnight. I know none of you have ever been in that place where you had a dream so big that it just burst to get out of you and had somebody stomp on it. Anybody ever been in that place where somebody just told you they stomp on that dream, like they tell you to shut up? You can't do that. There's no way that's going to happen for you. You can't go back to college. You can't graduate now. You're too old. You still got to stay at home and take a job. You got kids to raise. What do you think go back to school? Did anybody out here experience that when you started this journey? You did, didn't you? And you had to get an attitude, didn't you? Somebody said you can't do that. You said, oh no, you didn't, because I'm about to. And see, the attitude that I like the most is the attitude of excellence. And in order to have an attitude of excellence, it demands some things of you. It demands discipline. It demands discipline. And I don't mean the discipline like that stepdad who took me downstairs and beat me until the belt broke. I mean that discipline like that Marine on that earlier. Where is he at? Raise your hand, Marine. He served his country in Iraq and Afghanistan, and now he's going back to school. That's discipline. Is that not right? That's discipline. I met an ambassador earlier. She has 4 kids. She has a full-time job. She has a degree program underway. Not anymore. She's done with that part. But she also has that red sash. And that red sash tells me I don't just go to school and do my little homework. I go to school and I do my homework, and I go home and I take care of my kids, and I do my job, and I study, and then I go out and represent my school because I'm proud of what I do. That's discipline. It demands discipline. You know what else an attitude of excellence demands? So it demands diligence. Cracking that book every single time. It demands that you not just casually flow through your class, show up and hope that you're going to graduate, right? I talked to April earlier, and April said something very wise to me. How old are you, April? 22, I think she told me. 22 years old, April says to me, the easy way and shortcuts. Isn't that pretty much the same thing? And I thought, that's pretty wise for 22. Because you got to put in some long hours to go back and graduate. You got to put in some long hours to earn the right to move to the next level. It requires discipline. It requires the diligence of cracking that book. It also requires determination. Now, I don't see any determination out there, do I? Oh, yeah, you do. The kind of determination, I remember standing in my driveway outside of my 3,000 square foot, 2-story brick home. The rain has just begun to fall, and my wife is carrying the last box with all her precious little china and jewelry to the car. And as the tears are starting to run down my face, I'm asking myself, what could I have done differently? What could I have done for us not to lose our home in the economic downturn? I lost my job in 2008 just like everybody else did. A lot of people never got another one. A lot of people said, you know what? No, you didn't. You didn't kick me to the curb and watch me leave. You didn't kick me to the curb at the end of my job and say you're all done. No, you didn't. You freed me to be me. Now just sit right back and hear this tale. And I watched them take my house away. And I said, that's okay. My family and I packed up and we moved away. And I put my face back in the books. And I spent thousands, tens of thousands of dollars buying books, getting certification, getting retrained, just like you did. And I fought my way back. There was a time that my wife and I stood together with the money in our hand. We're making the trip. We had to borrow money to make the trip to Las Vegas to compete in the World Championship of Public Speaking with Toastmasters. 35,000 people entered that contest. There were 82 of us left. I went 1 second over my time and they disqualified me. I would have finished in the top 10. The guy who won in the room where I disqualified myself won the whole thing. He is the 2011 world champion at public speaking. I got really close. So what did I do? I quit, right? No. I put my face back in the books. I dug in a little deeper. My wife and I asked this question. We have X amount of money left in our savings. We can either put a heat and AC system in our house, or we can pay for this certification to become a John Maxwell leadership coach. And we argued about it, and we thought about it, and we thought about it, and we prayed about it. And we finally said, buy a fan. Open the windows. Get some thicker blankets for the winter. And we went 13 months with no heat, no AC in our home in Texas. Because I'm just like you. No, you didn't tell me that I'm not going to do it. It ain't going to happen. I'm going to put my foot down. I'm going to plant myself right here. And you're going to have to push harder than that to take away my dreams. Because I have an attitude of excellence. And it demands of me that I be disciplined. It demands of me that I be diligent. And it demands of me that I be determined. I know there's some determination out there too. I met a grandma. I don't know where she's at. I met a grandma who was going back to school. She's about the same age my mother is, almost 50 years old. I walked in and found my mother scrubbing the urinals in my middle school, down on her knees. And I said, what are you doing, Mom? She said, you know, this is the best I can do. I never graduated from high school. On the same month as her 50th birthday, my mother graduated from Mary Hardin Baylor with her major in education and a double minor in English and psychology. See, I challenged her and she made a determination. Now there's two things you got to know about determination. Number one definition of determination is a legal judgment. It's a decision. It's a final decision. If the judge determines you're going to jail, you're going to jail. And you're going to jail. Because it's a determination. But there's another kind of determination, and that's the kind that says, not only have I made a decision, but I'm going to pour everything I've got into making it happen. And if I don't get an education, this baby has no hope. And the school said, we're done with you. We got no responsibility for you. And my mom raised her hand. Of course, she had to stand up, too, because she was only 5'0". She stood up and she raised her hand. She said, put her in my class. They're like, what are you going to do with a baby? We don't have child care. She said, no, but I got a big classroom. And we'll put a bassinet right there in the corner. And that 15-year-old girl, or that 17-year-old girl came back and brought her baby and put that baby in the corner. And in less than 2 years, she went from her freshman qualifications to graduating with honors and academic scholarship. She's now director of nursing at Georgetown. That's a determination. But it wasn't just my mom's determination that I'll take her on. It was that young lady's determination to say, you are not going to take my dreams from me. No, you didn't tell me that I couldn't do it. And she got an attitude of excellence, and she demanded of herself the discipline to do the work. She demanded of herself the diligence to stay at it. She demanded of herself the determination to work hard even when it felt like it wasn't worth it anymore. How many of you had those days? You get off work and you're thinking, oh man, another hour in traffic to get to class. Why am I doing this? And then the electric bill comes in and you're like, oh, wish I had another X number of dollars in the bank. And then you look at that diploma, like you're doing today. And you've got a little more hope than you had yesterday, am I right? You got a little more courage to face the world than you had yesterday, am I right? You got a little more determination in your soul than you had yesterday, am I right? And you have this thing that comes when you demand of yourself the discipline and the diligence and the determination. You earn something that nobody can ever take away from you. Dignity. Dignity. You have earned that place of honor, that you are worthy of being recognized. You are worthy of being esteemed. That's why we're here today, folks. Yeah! That's all the dignity you brought with you. Are you kidding me? There you go. Just because you have the determination and the diligence and the discipline to get here, you have earned the right, you have earned the dignity that is bestowed on you today, but you got to keep being disciplined. That means don't just show up with your diploma and go, hey, give me a job. It means show up at that job and apply that diligence you already applied and be the best employee that company's ever hired. Show up and study more than you already know. It's not just about having that piece of paper. It's about being an absolute expert. Sometimes, though, you just got to be ready to step back in and add discipline to discipline. See, there's two forms of discipline. There's that hard-working discipline that's like diligence, where you just keep plowing through like the little train that could. And then there's that discipline like the correction, like many of us grew up with. And then there's that discipline like study that says, I know everything there is to know about Doritos. Now I'm going to practice my Cheetos. Now I'm going to practice my moon pies. Maybe you know all there is to know about electrical. There's nothing wrong with that little AC work to that. Why? Because those guys who are building superintendents, those guys who run those multi-million-dollar complexes, they know everything there is to know from top to bottom of that building. And when you come back again and you add discipline to discipline, you're twice as good. That makes you twice as valuable. When you add diligence to that, and you don't just say, hey, I know my work schedule says 8 o'clock. My boys and I sat this morning right here in this town, only blocks away from here, and we watched the store that said on the window, we open at 10 a.m. 7 customers standing outside that door. As employee after employee locked the door, walked in the door, and locked it behind them. They started at about 9:45. For 17 minutes, I watched every employee of that company open the door, walk in, and lock it behind them, and leave customers outside. My friends, that's not diligence. That is not diligence. Diligence says cash register's on, lights are on, 7 customers are ready to put money in my hand, baby. Bring me the money. You know what I'm saying? Diligence says, I know I'm supposed to be at work at 8 o'clock, but there's a problem we've been trying to solve, and if I can get here at 7:30, I'll solve it before the boss gets to work. That's diligence. And when you're determined to do that, that determination shows up. It shows up on your paycheck. It shows up in your bonuses. It shows up in your job opportunities that you didn't even know were there until somebody walked in and said, hey, I heard you could do this. Add to your discipline more discipline. Add to your diligence more diligence. Add to your determination more determination. And give away your dignity. Don't hear me wrong on that. I'm not telling you to give up your dignity. I'm telling you to give some to somebody else. How many of you know somebody that if you walk by them and reached out to shake your hand, they'd be surprised that you would bother? You know somebody like that, don't you? You know that person that they're so closed up in themselves, they're so ashamed of themselves, they're so hurt in themselves, they don't have the dignity to rise up, to reach out a hand, to do a thing like being an ambassador. That's why you do what you do. You're not a group of no you didn't. You're a group of did-sos. A done-done-its. You've got the dignity to share and the dignity to pass on. Here's what Dale Carnegie says. I love Dale Carnegie. It's been gone many, many years, but over 100 years ago, he started a workshop to make people better people. And he said, if you give a man a fine reputation to live up to, he will. Give away some dignity. Hand it to those people on the streets who are not sure how they got it. Hand it to those people who are so down and out they don't know why they do anything. Show a little love. Because you've got some dignity. You've got some authority you didn't have yesterday. Today, you are graduates. Today, you are different than anybody else. There are people out who are just starting out, like April at 22, fresh out of high school, hasn't decided on her career yet, but now she's got a good training under her belt. And there are people out here, like that mother of 4, who's an ambassador, and who's educated, who's raising a family and working a full-time job, and now she's stepping back in there. She didn't start out, she started over. But there's nothing wrong with starting out, there's nothing wrong with starting over. Just get started! And now that you're started, keep at it. Ladies and gentlemen, you have done something absolutely incredible. And if you just look at this room right now, you represent about 30 to 35% of the people in the room. But let me tell you something, in this world, you represent a different percentage. You represent the 3%. You represent the 3% who believe in themselves. You represent the 3% who are not going to be told no. You represent the 3% who will not stand up for, oh, no, you didn't. You're going to be a bunch of yes, I did, and a bunch of did-sos, and a bunch of watch me. Because, ladies and gentlemen, success in this world is usually accomplished by those who are doing what everyone else said can't be done. You done it.